Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. With school out, summer is the perfect time to teach our kids real-world money skills they'll use forever. Greenlight is a debit card and the #1 family finance and safety app used by millions of families, helping kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely. Parents can send their kids money and track their spending and saving, while kids build money confidence and skills in fun ways. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Spotify. That's greenlight.com/Spotify.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Walmart Business is in the business of helping your business, regardless of whether you're building bridges, building spreadsheets, or building lesson plans. Ooh, that looks fun. Walmart Business can help save you time, money, and hassle so you can focus on what you're building instead of what your supply closet is missing. In short, we take care of business so you can do more with yours. We're the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
Welcome to the HCI family of podcasts. We're your source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development. We share our own original research, explore industry trends, and interview executives and thought leaders from across the globe. Join us for practitioner-oriented content around all things leadership, HR, talent management, organizational development, and change management. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with the HCI family of podcasts. Rich Russakoff, welcome to the conversation today.
Thank you so much, John. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to be with you. You're joining us from Nice, France. I'm south of Salt Lake City in Utah. And today we're going to be talking about CEO burnout and self-sabotage. I think this is a really interesting and fascinating topic. I think it's one that can apply to leadership generally, but we're going to really hone in and focus on CEOs and senior executives specifically. The idea of leadership burnout is one that we have covered on this podcast from time to time, just because oftentimes we talk about burnout for line employees. We talk about burnout for members of your team, and as leaders, how we need to be mindful of that and how we have to have empathy and compassion and be supportive. But who's being supportive of the leaders? Who's making sure that leaders are being taken care of? And especially as you go up the line and you go up the hierarchy and you get to the senior levels, what are we doing to make sure that people at the most senior levels are who are bearing the weight of the organizations are, having, self-care and being able to bear that weight. And so it really is a hard thing. And we're going to unpack that and explore that and try to better understand, what can senior executives do to avoid burnout, to avoid self-sabotage, to try to better understand how they can practice self-care and be sustainable in their effort in what they do for their organizations and for their teams. As we get started, I wanted to share Rich's bio with everybody. Rich Russakoff is an internationally acclaimed business coach, speaker, author, and serial entrepreneur. As president and CEO of Coach to the Best, Rich guides CEOs and entrepreneurs throughout the world. Rich is always in demand as a speaker and has spoken at Inc. magazine conferences, the Fortune Growth Summit, the International Franchise Association, and at over 100 other entrepreneurial conferences and workshops throughout the world. He also has been a member of the faculty on the Entrepreneurial Master Program at MIT for the past 20 years. There's a whole lot more I could say, but I'm going to pause there, Rich. Anything you would like to highlight by way of your background or personal context before we dive on in further?
Well, I can't wait, John, to jump into the topic of CEO burnout.
Excellent.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So let's just dive on in. Based on your lifelong experience in this space, and you coach CEOs, what have you seen as some of the biggest drivers of CEO burnout and self-sabotage?
Well, first of all, one of the clients I work with that really nailed it in terms of lifestyle didn't call it work-life balance. He called it work-life integration.
Yeah.
And I really love
Jif peanut butter. It's that jiffing good, it doesn't really need advertising. So instead, enjoy the calming sounds of the ocean. Jif. Ooh, it's that jiffing good. Get your Jif at jif.com.
This episode is brought to you by Polestar. There's only one true way to experience the all-electric luxury SUV Polestar 3, and that's to take a test drive. It can go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds with the dynamic handling of a sports car. But to truly understand how it commands the road, you need to be behind the wheel. Up to 350 miles of range, the 3D surround sound system by Bowers & Wilkins. It's all something you have to experience to believe. So book your test drive for Polestar 3 today at polestar.com.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
Welcome to Sephora. I'm looking for a perfume that's not too perfumey. I got you.
Serum moisturizer or moisturizer serum.
Let's get into layering.
My concealer is making me look worse.
Sounds like the wrong shade. Let's get you matched.
There's only one store that really gets what you're going for. Get beauty from people who get beauty. Only at Sephora.
Hi, Let's get you a basket.
I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast Gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast Gems.
that concept, and it's mixing the both together. As you were describing burnout, I was thinking about a client I worked with many years ago in Austin, Texas, and I said to him, Chris, I'm curious, why did you reach out to me? He said, well, you're working with a very close friend of mine. And she said that you insisted she take her first vacation in 10 years and that you would not leave the building until she booked a vacation. And it's so important, you know, as we look at our stages of growth as businesses and as entrepreneurs, if we have children, if we have family, it's so important that we let the time be available for Little League games, for PTA, for being a parent as well as an entrepreneur. And there are very real signs of CEOs burning out. Yeah. One of them is they're not effective. They're always feeling like they're behind the 8 ball. And a lot of that is time and energy management. And the concept of energy management is we work hard and we recover. we work hard and recover. And any well-trained athlete knows that the recovery time is not just time off, it's necessary time so that we have the energy when we fully get back into the workspace.
Yeah, and I really like your focus there on not just time management, but energy management. This is something that I think is often lost on people. Could be because we talk about time management all the time. We talk about goal setting, we talk about SMART goals, we talk about, time blocking and all these different time management strategies. We talk about setting aside time to make sure you're getting exercise, to make sure you're doing mindfulness practices, all of these things. And these are all important. These are all, good tools to incorporate into your day. But you can do all of that. And if you're not paying attention to your energy levels, and if you're not paying attention to the ebbs and flows of that energy throughout the day, you're still not going to be effective. And so even more than time management, I think that energy management is really, really vital. And it's different for everybody. That's the thing is there's no like one size fits all here.
Exactly.
And so each individual person has to really discover what that is for them, and then tap into and like maximize their own energy management, their own like maximum energy potential, so to speak, so that they can, fulfill like become like the best version of themselves, around the energy that they have. And I'm not like speaking of energy in terms of like woo-woo energy. I'm talking about like literally your physical energy, like you based on your sleep and your exercise and the food that you consume, like the actual ebbs and flow of your body energy, that everyone has, and they have different kind of cadence of what that energy is like. That's something that we have to be very aware of, and it's different for everybody.
John, there's a couple of things I'd like to add to that. Years ago, I saw a book, and it said it's not time management, it's energy management that is critical. And I said, wow, most of the entrepreneurs I work with are very good at time management.
Yeah.
It's the energy management that makes the difference. And there's a couple ways to look at that. We like to find out what our client's zone of genius is. And zone of genius is when you're doing the things you do best, that you love. And when you're doing them, time stands still and you're getting energy. When you're not doing them, when you're doing the things that are difficult for you, that you shouldn't be doing, that you should turn over to others, that's when burnout starts. And this is a critical thing to assess. What do you do best? What do you love doing? And that's the things I work with my clients to focus on and find complementary people that can do the things that you don't do well. You don't want me to book my flights. It's a waste of time, and I always make mistakes. I'm not that detailed person, but I know where I want to go, and I know the airlines I don't want to fly and the cities I don't want to go through, but I can take advantage of someone who really gets the details, gets it right, and books the best flights for me. And I see so many CEOs as the company grows from 1 to 10 people where everybody does everything to 10 to 25, which is very exciting, and you're hiring people and the company is growing and you've established a niche. Get to 25 to 50 people, which is the transition from mom and pop to a professional company. And this is purgatory for most companies. The things that got you to one level will not get you to the next. and you have to reinvent yourself. And unfortunately, more often than not, many of the people who work really hard to get you to that level don't fit in with a company of 25 to 50 and then 50 or greater. So it's important to understand the stages of growth and what you have to do, what I call jumping the S curve, which as you get to a certain point in that curve, it starts to drop down, and you have to jump the curve to get to the next level. And that requires the right people, the right capital, and the right focus, and you doing the things you love and having the team that complements the skills that you have with the skills that the company needs as it continues to grow.
Yeah, and you mentioned doing the types of things that energize you versus the things that kind of suck the energy from you. Sometimes we think about also kind of the introversion, extroversion scale. So are you in situations that sap your energy versus, invigorate your energy, when you're around people? Everyone's different that way. Some people love looking at spreadsheets, other people that's the death of them, things like that, right? Like it's different for everybody. And not to say
Yes.
that, not to say that I'm never going to have to do things I don't like in my job. Everyone has to do a mix of things that you like and love and sometimes don't like or even despise in the work that you do. But if you can, especially the higher up you go, the more senior you become, you can surround yourself with a team of people, complement your skill set, right? And surround yourself with people and delegate, so that you don't have to do a lot of those things that do sap your time and your energy. So you can focus on the things that you're best at, and you can focus on your strengths, and you can focus on where your time is best spent. So I think that is something to pay really close attention to for sure. In the introduction, I also talked about self-sabotage. Where do you see a lot of its senior executives and CEOs, getting into that self-sabotage zone? So not only just experiencing the burnout that I think is natural, like a lot of leaders experience some burnout, CEOs often will experience burnout, but it's one thing to experience burnout generally. It's something different to like get into that self-sabotage zone. So unpack that for us a little bit. Like what are you seeing there, and what are people doing?
John, you have about 10 hours. I can really talk about this subject. My wife and I had the privilege of studying with Gay Hendricks, who wrote the book regarding finding your zone of genius. And one of the things he talked about was our upper limits barriers. For example, I have a client whose father was very high up in General Electric, and his dad was 40 years old when he was born. So his dad never went to Little League games. He never had the time to do these things. So my client felt like he was a burden on his father. So one upper limits barrier is, are you a burden? And even as you grow, you're demanding things from other people. And that upper limits barrier of, am I a burden, can self-sabotage. Also, why am I successful? How did I get here? I don't deserve this, which is another upper limits barriers that holds people back. And you see it with athletes, you see it with actors, and you certainly see it with entrepreneurs where they self-sabotage themselves. I was working with a client, he was a beautiful wife, beautiful family, and he was bringing home to himself $1 million a month. And he kept saying, why aren't I doing 5 million? Why aren't I doing 10 million? Because his father kept saying, you're not good enough. So when you struggle from that, and so many entrepreneurs did not do well in school because they have ADHD, they can't sit in a seat, so they're told they're not smart, they're stupid. So suddenly you have success and you say, I don't deserve it, and you can sabotage it with alcohol, with drugs, with an affair. There's so many ways you can sabotage it. So understanding upper limits barriers and what's holding you back, or someone in a family where they're very successful. They're the smartest kid. They're the great athlete. And the mother or father will say, hey, don't be so good. You're making your brothers and sisters look bad. So this is another one of the upper limits barriers, and they tend to self-sabotage our success. And I'm working with a client, she's fantastic. Her husband is struggling. He finds a problem with every solution, and she can't enjoy her success because she's feeling like she's leaving her husband behind. So much of this is psychological and goes back to what we were told about ourselves when we were kids.
So what I'm hearing is there's just a lot of that emotional baggage that we all tend to carry with us. Some of that leads into, maybe the imposter syndrome that a lot of us will often, experience. And these are things that I think we all experience, right? And so it's only natural that as you rise up in the ranks and you find yourself in more elevated roles, that you might all continue to feel those things. So, if all of a sudden I find myself in a CEO position, sure, I might feel imposter syndrome and feel like, oh no, someone's going to figure out that I don't know what I'm doing. The whole fake it till you make it mentality that often, society tells us, put on a smile, fake it till you make it, and surround yourself with good people, and you'll get there. That's great, but the underlying psychological, element of like, in reality, behind closed doors, you're just freaking out. You don't know what you're doing. And oftentimes people don't feel like they feel, safe to seek help when they're feeling that way. That's troubling. And then people lead because they don't seek healthy outlets for help. Then sometimes they seek unhealthy outlets, right? They seek, they have an affair, they use drugs, they do, bad things that aren't helpful, things that aren't healthy, rather than doing the things that will actually be helpful. So that's what I'm hearing you say, and all of that just sounds like human nature. I mean, like we tend to see that time and time and time again throughout the human story, and it's so unfortunate. And all of this too, I would say, if someone's experiencing imposter syndrome, or they're experiencing like emotional baggage from their childhood, or like from a strained relationship with their parents, or something like that, I can kind of feel for that person. Like that's like that's humanizing, and I can resonate with that. I can empathize with that. But there's also the type of CEO or senior executive that's arrogant, that's a narcissist, that that I can't really empathize with. And that kind of a senior executive, they also tend to self-sabotage in other ways, that are quite different. Can you talk about some of those types of self-sabotage behaviors?
Yes. I worked with a client about 3 years ago, and I realized after 3 months that I did not want to work with him. He created chaos everywhere he went. He felt that if he told you what was wrong with you, that was made him better. He had no emotional intelligence. And as a result, there was a constant turnover of otherwise good talent because they couldn't work with them. And that just doesn't go with the people that you're employing. That goes with your vendors. That goes with your stakeholders. So narcissists, I don't think, have a long life as entrepreneurs because they truly will kill a business with their mindset.
Yeah, that mindset and that toxicity and how they interact with those around them, all of that can really derail. So that, yeah, that kind of self-sabotage, yeah, it's a whole different category. It's a whole other thing we could unpack together. Well,
Now, John, if
Rich,
somebody,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If somebody is coachable,
yeah,
and you can point out to them where they're self-sabotaging themselves and the people that work for them and help them grow. I worked with someone many years ago, and we created the values for the company and with the leadership team. And one of the values that we created was brutal honesty. And then I would see him go around and talk to his key people. Brutal honesty. You're out the door at 5 o'clock every day. Why don't you stay later? Brutal honesty. You didn't get this done on time. And I said to him, Michael, I have a $100 bill in my pocket that I will give you if you can tell me one other value besides brutal honesty. And he couldn't. I said, that's because that's not really a value. That's your way of treating people in a way that demeans them. And it was an eye-opener for him. And he saw how his behaviors and his mindset didn't make him happy either, and totally impact the people that were working so hard for him. So one of the things a coach can do, a good coach, is not just provide you with strategy or rhythms or systems, but look at things like, where are your upper limits barriers? Where's your zone of genius? Are you dealing from the top of the deck with integrity? Do you have values that enhance where the company is going? And that's when you become, as a coach, a true guider of your clients and help them be their best self. There's something else I wanted to get back to when we were talking about upper limits barriers. Don't believe everything you think. We have like 70,000 thoughts a day. And a lot of those thoughts are those tapes from when we were a kid that said, you're not good enough, or watch out, if you do that, you're going to leave other people behind. And it's identifying them and identifying those personas that are self-sabotaging, and then figuring out the very best way to minimize them and grow as a person is something that a good coach or partner or the right books or the right psychologist can help you overcome or at least minimize.
Yeah. Excellent points. Rich, this has just been a great conversation. We've really only scratched the surface. There's so much more that could be said, but I also note the time. It's getting late there in France, and I'm sure you have other things you need to get to. I need to let you get on your way. Before we wrap
We're
things
going
up,
to get you a great dinner after this call. We're in France.
That's right. But before we wrap up, I just wanted to give you a chance to share with the audience how they can connect with you, find out more about your work, and then give us the final word on the topic for today.
Thank you so much, John. You can reach me at Rich at Coach to the Best, because that's who I coach, the best. And it's all letters, a coach to the best. And I have several books. One of them is called People, Time, and Money. And I do a daily post called Food for Thought. And People, Time, and Money is a compilation of articles I've written about how to manage people, how to manage money, and how to manage yourself. And I'm working on a new project right now where we're calling it the Freedom Academy. And we're interviewing 50 CEOs who have chosen to sell their business, and what was the good, the bad, and the ugly that came out of that sale. What would they do differently? And it's amazing what we're learning. And basically, your business is worth much more when it can run without you. Then somebody can buy it and really take off with it. So this is an exciting project, and it's a joy to be a part of it.
Wonderful. Rich, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. I encourage the audience to reach out, to get connected, find out more about what Rich can do for you. And as always, I hope everyone can stay healthy and safe, that you can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. And I hope you all have a great week. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the podcast. We hope you stay healthy and safe, and please join us again soon.